I would just like to reiterate my compliments to him and gratitude for the fact that he put his own life in jeopardy and safety in jeopardy. And he is a credit to the Clifton Forge Police Department and an honor to have him representing our town in that manner. So I'd like to have that as part of the record of this meeting, please. Just a few things. The garden spots down on the Century Trail are up and ready to be planted. We have 12 total. 7 have been rented and have actual plants and things in them that are growing. They look really nice. We have 5 left. And just so everybody knows, and Shorty, you might want to pass this along if you can, 3 of the 5 spots that are left are sponsored spots. So if there's somebody that anybody knows that would like to have a garden spot down there that can't afford the rental fee, we have 3 very generous donors who will cover the cost of that spot for them. They just need to reach out to Kyla and let her know, and she will get the paperwork done and get it taken care of for them. So, but there's 3 of the 5 left are sponsored spots. Speaking of the Century Trail, we had a lot of cleanup effort down there. Good group of volunteers went down on Earth Day and cleaned up, put some new trellises up around the climbing berries, the canyon berries, and cleaned up some things down there. Public Works is in the process of replacing, I'm sure you've all seen it, but the cattle panel arch over the entrance to the area, and I guess people climbing on it, and it's been bent down. They went down the other day and started on that. The skid steer that they used to dig the post holes down there because the rocks broke down while they were down there. But they're going to rent a piece of equipment tomorrow to get that completed and finished up. The kiosk, entrance kiosk, has been cleaned up and looks really nice. The wildflower garden is coming up nicely this year from where it was planted last year. So there's been a lot of activity down on the trail. I was down there Sunday morning and planted a couple of planters with some flowers, and while I was down there, 6 people went by and used the trail and just seemed really happy to be down there. And it actually was really peaceful and quiet to be down there that early in the morning and spend some time. So things are moving along down there. Next thing I want to talk about is we've heard a lot of conversation, and we've had a lot of conversation about the condition of the Ridgeway Street Bridge in front of the Allegheny Building and the Five Sides Law Office Building, which we all know is the former Prentice Bank Building. You know, I've had some folks say to me this week that is not a VDOT recognized bridge. That is very definitely a VDOT recognized bridge. VDOT has that bridge on their list of inspections by Schwartz and Sons, bridge inspectors. They've been inspecting the bridges in this area since 1963. And we've been in conversation with them, as well as we had our own engineering group evaluate the bridge to see if we could, and actually we wanted to get the bridge with a lower rating than what it has. Because right now on VDOT's state of good repair rating grade, it does not qualify for state funding to rebuild or repair. We're at a 5 to 6 rating. In order to start being considered for their funding, it has to be below a 4. So we also reached out and had Mr. Schwartz himself visit Clifton Forge last week, and he is working up a proposal for us to do surface repair and upgrades to the bridge to make it more user-friendly, if you will. A smoother ride is what he called it, and not doing anything so drastically that it will delay the state funding qualifications But he anticipates, with his experience, that we're looking at somewhere between 4 and 5 years for a total bridge replacement at that location. And what he is proposing that we take on and do should carry us through that, or maybe even a little bit further, to improve the overall usability of the bridge. So we are working on it. We do know it's a problem. We also assure you that it is a state-recognized bridge, and we do have the funding to make the repairs to the deck that he's suggesting that we make. So once we get a plan in place and he gives us a very definite decision on what needs to be done, where it needs to be done, and how it needs to be done, we will move forward with that. Any questions? Okay. While we're talking about paving, we're working with 3 agencies right now. Our 2 parts of VDOT and the Roanoke Valley Allegheny Regional Commission, bringing the West Ridgeway Street paving project to the bid stage. Jamison Strouser from VDOT has acquired the funding for that project to be renewed this year. The only stipulation is that we have to bid it out this year and get it on VDOT's schedule for paving. And we don't know where it's going to fall on their schedule for paving, whether that will be accomplished later this fall or very early next spring. But we have to have it bidded out and contracted out in this calendar year. We're also working with the ADA compliance specialist from VDOT about the ADA accessibility of the sidewalks at the intersections all up along Ridgeway from Roxbury Street all the way through past Hardee's. And Andrea Garland from Roanoke Valley Allegheny Regional Commission is working with her design team to develop walking and bike lanes on each side of Ridgeway Street going in and out of town. When we do this, it's called a lane diet that they're working on to come up with. And everything for this project will be funded through VDOT money. This is not a town-funded project. This is VDOT funding, and it's been on the books for about 6 years, and it's finally coming to reality this year. So, Jefferson School redevelopment update. We have one developer working really diligently on a proposal for the school. They ran into some construction financing snafus as far as interest rates and things that they were quoted. They came back to the town. I met with them last Thursday afternoon. They've asked us to step in along with Hill Studios and help them navigate that and potentially provide some grant writing services for them to get the grants that they need to make it work for their financing. Help them obtain the historic tax credits that they need for that to move forward. And David Hill has already contacted and put them in touch with a lender that will meet their low interest loan requirements. So they're looking to finance $2.5 million at 3.5%, and then secure the other $2.5 million in grants and historic tax credits. That school building is unique in that it is both on the State Registry of Historic Landmarks and the Federal Registry of Historic Landmarks. So there's 2 sets of historic tax credits that are available for use on that building. So they're very much still interested in it, very much still working really hard to make it happen. They just want to make sure that they're able to get the funding that they need before they sign a contract. They are willing to sign a letter of intent, which should be forthcoming, and we'll just work through that with them as it comes, and I'll keep you updated and posted on that as it progresses. And then the last thing I have tonight, Mr. Mayor, is an update on the Smith Creek waterline project. All of the easements and right-of-ways agreements have been reached. We'll be circling back with all of those property owners next week to get those easement papers signed. The holdup on that was being able to coordinate their schedule with the Notary Republic to have the signatures notarized when they signed them. We had the pre-bid meeting about 10 days ago. We had probably 2 weeks ago, we had 8 contractors show up interested in that project. And since that time, 4 of those 8 have been back and re-walked the entire path and route of that water line with Chris. And I don't know if you've noticed or not, but on the Allegheny Journal, some of those contractors, Hammond Mitchell, Aaron Connor, and some of the others, have been putting RFPs out for subcontractors to work with them on this project. And the main thing that they're looking for subcontractors on is the directional bore sites under the creek. The first addendum of questions and answers for the contract went out today, came out. It hit my email about 6 o'clock, so I haven't had time to read them or look at them. But these are all questions that have been posed by the potential contractors to the engineers about what will be required and what might be changed or could possibly change. And then addendum 2 will come out next week and a half, about 10 days from this one. And then the bid opening will be in this room at 10 a.m. on June the 4th. And we should know that day who the potential low bidder will be. Of course, we won't be able to award the contract immediately that day because the bid will have to be reviewed and make sure that it was submitted in proper fashion and format as required. But I would say that by the middle of June, we should know which contractor is going to be running that job. And our addendum requirement is they need to have boots on the ground within 60 to 90 days of the award of the bid and signing of the contract. So if we're able to get that done by mid-July, we're looking at around October at the latest before they'll start. And of course, there are provisions in there for winter weather and holdups because of that. But I'm really optimistic that we will get this started before cold weather sets in. And we're looking at about if the weather's good for us, 12-month project. If the weather's hard on us, it could stretch out to be an 18-month project. But that's where we are on that. That's right at a $3.9 million project. And I've said this before, but that is another project that is completely funded through Virginia Department of Health, ARPA money, and American Rescue Plan money that we've been able to hold back from our original stipend that we got in 2022. And that's how that will be paid for. That's all I have tonight, Mr. Mayor.